Part 1. Exile and Discovery. Section 1. The Wanderer in the Void. The void stretched endlessly before him, an abyss of silent whispers and forgotten ruins. Voidborn drifted between stars, his crimson cape billowing like liquid night. His armor, black as the cosmic depths, pulsed with an energy even he did not fully understand. He was a warrior without a home, cursed with power, bound to an existence he could not escape. For centuries, Voidborn had fought battles across the cosmos, striking down warlords, slaying horrors from beyond time, and toppling empires that played too recklessly with forbidden forces. But despite his victories, an emptiness gnawed at him, a sense that his purpose was lost, that he was merely a weapon wielded by fate. Then the anomaly appeared. A planet, uncharted, unknown. It materialized from the void, breaking celestial pathways and disturbing the balance of the universe. It pulsed with hunger, defying all logic. And for reasons he could not explain, Voidborn was drawn to it. Little did he know, this was only the beginning. Section 2. The Unknown World. The anomaly world was unlike anything recorded in the cosmic archives. It was a living, ancient, slumbering force. Voidborn's arrival was not unnoticed. Hidden watchers studied him from the shadows, and the echoes of a long-lost civilization called out in silent agony. Something had awakened. A battle erupted before Voidborn could learn more. A fleet of celestial dominion warships arrived, their golden hulls gleaming as they sought to lay claim to the planet. With them came Grand Warlord Zareth, a ruthless zealot who saw the anomaly world as a divine gift meant only for his empire. But Voidborn was not the only one standing against him. Part 2. War Among the Stars. Section 3. The Factions of War. The Celestial Dominion. A vast empire that had spent millennia spreading its rule across the stars. Led by Grand Warlord Zareth, they believed in imposing their order on the universe. Their soldiers were fanatical, their fleets unstoppable. To them, the anomaly world was the key to divine ascension. The Voidborn Legion, a ragtag coalition of exiled warriors, rogue fleets, and those who had seen the Dominion's tyranny firsthand. Their leader, Zyra, was Zareth's own niece once, a Dominion captain, now its most wanted traitor. She had sworn to resist her uncle's rule and saw Voidborn as the missing piece to their resistance. The Abyssal Lords, creatures of unspeakable horror that whispered to those who would listen, Vialtura, the devourer of stars, lay dormant beneath the planet's surface. The Dominion and the Legion fought for control, but the Abyssal Lords had already begun their games. Section 4. The War Begins. Before the battle over the mysterious planet began, the Dominion had spent decades absorbing civilizations and crushing resistance. Now, with the anomaly world's arrival, both sides knew this war would determine the fate of reality itself. Voidborn was thrust into the center of it all, forced to choose a side. But the whispers of the abyss called to him, revealing secrets even he had never known. Part 3. The Abyss Unleashed. Section 5. The Horror Awakens. Reality fractured. The sky above split open, and from the wound in existence emerged Vialtura, the devourer of stars, a cosmic horror, an entity of unspeakable hunger. It had slumbered beneath the planet for eons, waiting for the moment to awaken. The Dominion's golden warriors fell like dust before the abyss. Even Zareth, clad in divine armor, found his faith shaken as the darkness consumed his men. Voidborn knew this enemy. He had fought nightmares before. But something about this felt different. The way the abyss called to him, it was personal. As he clashed with Vialthura's monstrous legions, he was joined by an unlikely Alaya Nixera, the last seer of the abyss. She had seen this moment in visions. She had seen Voidborn's fate. And she knew that the battle was only beginning. Part 3. The Abyss Unleashed. Section 5. The Horror Awakens. Reality fractured. The sky above split open, and from the wound in existence emerged Vialthura, the devourer of stars. A cosmic horror, an entity of unspeakable hunger. It had slumbered beneath the planet for eons, waiting for the moment to awaken. The Dominion's golden warriors fell like dust before the abyss. Even Zareth, clad in divine armor, found his faith shaken as the darkness consumed his men. Voidborn knew this enemy. He had fought nightmares before, but something about this felt different. The way the abyss called to him, it was personal. As he clashed with Vael'Thura's monstrous legions, he was joined by an unlikely allying Nyxara, the last seer of the abyss. She had seen this moment in visions. She had seen Voidborn's fate, and she knew that the battle was only beginning. Section 10. The Fall of Zareth. The battle reached its peak as Voidborn faced Grand Warlord Zareth in single combat. The Golden Warlord, once a symbol of divine order, now stood against the Abyss's chosen warrior. Their fight shattered entire battlefields, shaking the heavens with every clash of steel and energy. In the end, Zareth fell not by Voidborn's hand alone, but by the very darkness he sought to control. His body was consumed, leaving only his armor behind, an empty shell marking the end of an era. Section 11. Beyond the Veil. With Zareth gone, the battle seemed won, but the whispers of the abyss grew louder. The entity that had spoken to Voidborn before now revealed itself full yon ancient being beyond mortal comprehension, an architect of forgotten wars. It told him the truth. He was not merely a warrior. He was a piece of the abyss itself, created to fight a war beyond time. Torn between his past and his purpose, Voidborn made a choice he would no longer be a pawn of fate. Section 12. The Last Sacrifice. Voidborn, with the help of Zyra and Nyxara, devised a final plan. The only way to stop the abyss from spreading was to sever its link to reality, but doing so would mean sacrificing everything. In an act of defiance, Voidborn used his own essence to seal the entity away. The abyss screamed as it was pulled back into the void, taking Voidborn with it. The battle was over, but at a terrible cost. Section 13. Rebirth and Legend. Years later, the galaxy spoke of a warrior who had defied fate itself. The Voidborn Legion lived on, carrying his legacy. Zyra led them into a new era, while Nyxara, forever haunted by visions, searched for signs of his return. And in the deepest corners of the void, where time and reality intertwined, something stirred. The void never sleeps. Voidborn, Shadows of the Abyssa Cosmic Dark Fantasy Novel. Part 3. The Fall and Reclamation. Section 14. The Fractured Realm. The cosmic battle had left the very fabric of reality scarred. The energy surges from the failed ritual to permanently seal the abyss had sent Voidborn spiraling through time and space, cast into a realm that defied all logic and understanding. This was the fractured realm, a place where past, present, and future collapsed upon one another, forming an ever-shifting labyrinth of forgotten echoes and doomed destinies. Voidborn awoke on the edge of an obsidian plateau, his armor cracked, his cape tattered but still clinging to him like a living shadow. The stars above were fractured, pieces of galaxies floating in impossible formations. He tried to move, but the very ground shifted under his will, responding to his emotions like a sentient force. As he adjusted, a familiar yet alien voice reached his mind. "You are not supposed to be here. Yet you are." He turned sharply, hand instinctively reaching for his energy-forged blade. Before him stood Lutherion, the timeless scholar, a spectral figure adorned in robes woven from cosmic threads, his form flickering between existence and nothingness. His eyes burned with the light of dying stars, filled with knowledge no mortal or even immortal should ever possess. "Where is here?" Voidborn demanded, his voice echoing unnaturally in the vast emptiness. "The place where lost gods wander, the graveyard of titans, the fracture between creation and oblivion," Lutherion answered, stepping forward. "And if you do not reclaim yourself, you too shall be lost." A deep growl rumbled from the void beyond them, sending waves of instability through the realm. The fractured realm did not suffer stability for long. The ghosts of a fallen war. Lutherion led Voidborn through shifting corridors of time and space, each step threatening to erase them from existence. Spectral images of battles long forgotten surrounded them, scenes of celestial gods waging war against horrors from beyond the void, entire civilizations burning, planets shattering under the weight of the abyss. "What is this?" Voidborn asked, his voice laced with unease. The war that has never ended, Lutherian responded. The war you are always part of. The war that defines your very being. Voidborn's mind throbbed. More memories surfaced, visions of him standing alongside warriors he did not remember, fighting enemies that now barely held shape in his thoughts. The war between light and darkness, order and chaos, had always been ongoing, and he had been at its heart before being cast into exile. Then, one image stopped him cold. A version of himself different, yet unmistakably him leading an army of abyssal horrors against a golden city of unimaginable splendor. That is not me, Voidborn growled. Not yet, Lutherian corrected. But the abyss remembers. It calls to you, and should you fail to reclaim yourself, that is who you will become. The shadows around them stirred. Something ancient and patient had been watching. The Shadow King's challenge. Before Voidborn could process what he had seen, the air around him trembled. From the fractured fabric of the realm, a figure emerged, Malakar, the Shadow King, an abyssal warlord who had long been thought erased from existence. His form was wreathed in writhing darkness, his armor forged from the souls of conquered warriors, his eyes twin voids devouring light itself. So, the Lost One returns. Malakar mused, his voice both a whisper and a roar. I have waited eons for this moment. The throne of the abyss has been empty for far too long. Voidborn steadied himself. I am no king. Malakar laughed. Yet the abyss does not forget its own. If you do not take your place, another will. The darkness will never be without a master. Lutherian stepped back. This is your test, your truth. If you falter now, all that you have fought for will be meaningless. The battle began without another word. Duel in the fracture. Voidborn clashed with Malakar, the very realm warping with every strike. Blades of pure void clashed against searing cosmic fire. The echoes of fallen deities screamed through the battlefield as the two warriors fought not just with weapons, but with their very essences. Malakar fought with the strength of the abyss itself, his power honed through centuries of conquest. But Voidborn had something else, the echoes of those he had fought beside, those he had lost. The lessons of countless wars, the memories that had been stripped from him. With a final surge, Voidborn drove his blade through Malakar's core, unraveling the Shadow King's form into countless fragments of dark energy. As Malakar's essence was devoured by the very abyss he sought to rule, his voice echoed one last time. You may have won this battle, but the abyss will always hunger. It will call you back. It always does. Voidborn stood victorious, but the victory felt hollow. His memories were still fragmented, his path uncertain. But one thing was clear, this war was far from over. Lutherian approached. You have passed the test, but your greatest battle still awaits. Come, it is time you remembered everything. The fractured realm shuddered, and reality itself pulled them toward the next truth awaiting Voidborn. Part 4. The Edge of Existence. Section 15. The War of the Forgotten Titans. The universe trembled as the titanic entities of old awoke from their slumber. These were the architects of reality's foundation, once worshipped as gods before time itself was rewritten. Voidborn stood at the precipice of cosmic annihilation as the Dominion, the Abyssal Lords, and the rebellious Voidborn Legion clashed in an all-consuming battle. Karax, the biomechanical titan, now free from the planet's core, loomed over the battlefield, his steel-flesh form bristling with forgotten power. Against him stood Valthura's chosen Aurora, being composed of void stuff and writhing nightmares, known only as Zalzeros, the Maw of Nihility. Zyra commanded the Legion's forces with ruthless efficiency, while Nyxara foresaw glimpses of the future, guiding Voidborn towards the battle's true purpose. The war had begun, but few understood that this was only the prelude to something far worse. Section 16. The Abyssal Ascension. Reality shattered as the Abyssal Lords finally broke through the final seals. No longer mere whispers in the dark, their true forms now bled into existence. Voidborn found himself face to face with Zarquinoth, the architect of Unbeing, an entity that claimed to have created Voidborn long ago. You are our finest creation, our lost son, Why do you resist? Memories that weren't his flooded Voidborn's mind visions of a time before he was a warrior, before he had any name at all. Could it be true? Had he been a fragment of the abyss all along, or was this another deception? Zyra's voice snapped him back to the moment. Don't listen to that void-spawned freak. You're not some cosmic pawn, you're Voidborn. But the abyss whispered its temptations, and its grip on him tightened. Section 17. The Shattered Pantheon. With the abyssal lords unleashed, the long-dormant celestial pantheon descended upon the war-torn realm, desperate to reclaim their dominion over existence. These beings, once revered as gods, had turned to apathy and self-imposed exile. But now, they had no choice but to fight. Their leader, Authorion, the Prime Celestial, descended in a storm of golden light. We abandoned this war once before. We shall not make the same mistake again. But it was not salvation they brought, it was judgment. The war shifted as the Pantheon sought to cleanse both the Dominion and the Abyssal Lords, seeing all as corrupt. Caught in the middle, Voidborn realized the conflict had spiraled beyond anything he had ever imagined. To be continued. Hope to see you all in part 2, soon to be released. Please like and subscribe. It took some time making this. Ciao.